Happy Halloween, everyone. Slasher Movies here, and I hope you guys are having an awesome Halloween season, you guys. You probably won't be seeing this video on Halloween, but I hope it turns out pretty freaking awesome. Now, with Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimensions currently out in theaters and reportedly being the final installment in the franchise, it only seemed natural that we go back and look at the franchise and rank them from worst to best. Now, before we get started here, I think this is important to state that I am a fan of the Paranormal Activity franchise. It got a little bit of hate towards its final few films, but no matter what, I was always looking forward to these films and considered myself a fan of this franchise. Also, I think it's important to note that I will not be including in this ranking list Paranormal Activity Tokyo Nights, which is classified as an unofficial sequel to Paranormal Activity. It's basically like Japan was like, yeah, we want to get in on this crave, so we're basically going to remake it, but also call it an unofficial sequel in our own ways. In my opinion, it's awful, so if you want to know where I would have it in this, it would be at the very, very bottom of the barrel. So let's get started with the ranking list. So at the bottom of the list, number 6, the worst in the franchise, is its final installment, well, reportedly, The Ghost Dimensions. And the reason why I have this one at the bottom is mainly just because of the sort of insultedness, sort of lackluster feeling it feels as a final chapter. They said that this would answer all the burning questions, and it did not. There were a lot of questions that a lot of fans, including myself, really wanted to know the answers to, and we never got it. And it just not only felt insulting, but felt anticlimactic, and just felt more, you wanted more out of it than it was given. I appreciate the fact that they tried to do something new by showing us Toby and having the spirit camera, but in the midst of it all, it just didn't really add as much as you would have hoped. Number 5 is Paranormal Activity 4. For a lot of people, this was the film where the franchise started to show some wear and tear. And I can totally agree with that. I think there's a little too many jump scares. The scares get a little formalic and not as creative as in the previous films. But I do think there's a lot of things that I did like. I love the family. Alex is so likable. There are a good handful of some really great scares. It's also really tech savvy, which I think kind of worked in its advantage. And the ending was really scary. Coming in at number 4, I have Paranormal Activity 2. This film succeeds in a lot of ways. One, building a movie off of the first film. How it does it narratively as being a prequel and a sequel at the same time is really well effective in my opinion. I love the direction this film went. Also, the film offers a lot of great scares. And, and I love the family in this film. And just like I said overall, it was a very scary film. Even though the pacing isn't quite as tight-knit as the first film, it's still a great, solid, and terrifying movie, you guys, that offers one of the best jump scares I've ever seen. That kitchen scene, scares me every time. Coming in at number 3, I have Paranormal Activity The Marked Ones. I love this movie. So many people were going down on this movie, but I will admit, I loved this movie. I thought it was fun, and I enjoyed the sort of off-the-rocker wall that this movie had, and the Latino family was great. I enjoyed Jesse and Hector and their relationship and their friendship. I thought the scares were fun. Even though I will admit this is the least scariest film in the franchise, it still was a lot of fun, and how this movie ties into all the other films in the series was really cool, and I enjoyed seeing the ending to this movie. Number 2 is Paranormal Activity 3, which in my opinion is one of my personal favorite horror sequels. I love this movie to death, you guys. This movie scared me so much when I went and saw this in the theaters, and I love the approach of going back to the 80s. On a narrative structure, this movie was fantastic. Seeing Katie and Christy as kids and seeing how our demonic friend Toby came into their lives was so fascinating, and the scares were absolutely terrifying. From Bloody Mary to that rotating fan of tension to the kitchen scenes, because kitchens are just where Toby goes to play. Just everything in this movie was vamped up. It was so terrifying. I love just the 80s vibe that this movie gave off, and the ending to this movie was so freaking scary. Ugh. And of course you saw this coming before you even clicked on the video. The best film in this whole franchise is, of course, the original Paranormal Activity, which for me is the scariest freaking movie I have ever seen in my life. And you can laugh at me all you want, but I cannot deny the effect that this movie had on me when I left the theater. I was so shooken up, so in tears. I literally experienced what I feel like a lot of people did when they watched The Exorcist. I was so freaking scared, you guys. I'd never seen a movie that felt so real in my life. This is my favorite found footage film, and how it invented and like revamped the genre was incredible in my opinion. The sort of steady cam nature of it, how you see this sort of Where's Waldo Playhouse of Terror approach to it, and Katie and Mika were phenomenal in this movie. And that moment where Katie got drugged out of her bed is without a shadow of a doubt probably the scariest thing I have ever seen on film. I lost it, you guys. This was also the best theater experience I've probably ever had. I've never seen a horror movie, where people jumped and screamed as much as I have, and when the movie was over, as quiet as much as I have. So there you have it, you guys. That was my ranking of the Paranormal Activity franchise from worst to best. Let me know in the comment section below. What did you think of Paranormal Activity as a franchise as a whole? I will admit, it got a little weak towards the end of its run, but you know what? I still liked it. Also, let me know what's your ranking in the comment section below. I like to know, do you agree with mine? What's yours? All that fun jazz. Hope you guys have an awesome Halloween, or had an awesome Halloween. Let me know also in the comment section below, what'd you dress up as? And until next time, you guys, I'm the Slash Movie Reviewer, and you guys have just been slashed.